Morning, guys. Hey, yesterday I did a live stream on the way home from walking my kids to school, and I was trying to show you something, but it got all garbled. I don't know why. Anyway, let me try and do it again. So this morning I read an article about the Liberal Party leadership debate in Français. I think in Montreal last night. Anyway, apparently it didn't go well for Carney. And it's just like, so this guy writes this article talking about how badly it went for Carney and how he screwed up like the most basic stuff, and he's the big fish. And naturally, I think you're showing your political bias if you do a whole article going after the big fish of the Liberal Party. But it's still worth doing. It's a good exercise. Because the political class as it exists, they're useless. Like, worse than useless. They're completely superficial frauds. And they're trying to hold up a system that is coming down under its own weight. You can only lie to people so long, I think. And so I was walking yesterday and it was like all slushy and stuff on the path, on the trail. In fact, I'll take you this way. I want to show you something. Let's do a little detour. The path here. This is what it looks like. This is a public path. Yesterday it was just completely covered because we've had so much snow. It was completely covered with this kind of stuff, right? And the question is, since it snowed like, oh Jesus, it's a death trap too. Since it snowed like, I don't know, a week and a half ago or something, and it's been like this pretty much since, where is the city, the government, the bureaucracy, the one that's so concerned about your health and your welfare, that they shut down all of the businesses that were non-essential and all of the things that they claimed were not, they made you wear a mask, they made you get experimental vaccines. Oh no, I said the V word. And for what? What did they do it? And here's what I'm trying to tell you. They didn't realize that it was actually them that's becoming irrelevant. So they panicked. They said, oh my gosh, we have to make ourselves so relevant that everybody's going to need us. And so they created this giant, great reset superstructure, teaming with Johns Hopkins and telling everybody, oh, we know the way to do everything. We're going to fix everything. And they created a totally totalitarian, tyrannical system that ran for 2 years. All to say that, oh, we're so important. Don't you know how important we are? And then this is what the world looks like under their leadership. And it was way worse yesterday. And I tried to show you yesterday in the live stream. I tried to show you, like if we're spending all this money on safetyism and all the kinds of things that give these people the authority they think they have to do what they did, where are they now? Where are they? Like, this is a disaster. This is a death trap. Where are they? It's a fiction, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a fiction that they have some kind of authority to protect yourself from the world. And so the world yesterday, when this was a lot worse, the sun came out and melted a lot of the really treacherous stuff. Melted it right off the path. And then this morning the sun's coming out again and it's starting to melt it again. Right now it's a little bit treacherous because it was cold overnight, but it's warming up again. And see, these people are out on the stage claiming, oh, look, we made the sun come out. We made it safe for you. When they did nothing like that. All they did was wait for the next day to come and then claim ownership over the way that it all turned out. And that's what they're doing right now. They think that they're still relevant when they're not. You see, when you strip away all this treachery and the snow and the sun comes out and it melts all of the bullshit that was all over the path leading forward, suddenly you realize you didn't need somebody to tell you which direction to walk down the path with little arrows painted on the ground. You didn't need to wear a mask when you were outside. You didn't need to do any of the dumb shit they made you do. And they did it because they felt threatened. They knew their relevancy was coming to an end. And that's what artificial intelligence really is. It's the end of bureaucracy. And Doge is proving that to us. And now they're trying so hard to make themselves sound relevant, when they're the least relevant people there is. Like in one of the headlines, it was like, oh, and I'm not picking on Jagmeet, but like, Jagmeet saying he finally got his golden parachute or whatever. He finally has been in Parliament long enough and holding up the Liberal Party so long that now he finally got his retirement package, he qualified for it or something. And it's like, even the people trying to say that Jagmeet is like a bad guy and he did it for all these selfish purposes, you're not understanding what's happening either. You see, if AI represents anything, it's that the way we used to do things, the way we used to understand retirement packages and the future and like anything that government does that they thought they could plan for, they're no longer capable of doing something that my iPhone can do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're trying to make themselves sound relevant when the world is showing them increasingly that they are completely irrelevant. And so they try to tell you, oh, we have all these values and listen to our values. Our values are better than those guys over there. And what are their values? Really? Well, holding up systems that are all coming down. Holding up their own values. Their values are, what's in it for me? That's their values. So when they pretend that their main concern is the Canadian people, none of them even understand what's going to happen next year. And the game that they've been playing, like they can actually shape the future and they're young global leaders. And I used to hate on them for that for so long. And then I realized, oh, they're just retarded. They don't know the world as it exists right now. They think they live in the old world. They think this is still the old world. They're oblivious. And that's what scares me more than anything else. When I listen to this guy, Connor Lehue, who's a head of an artificial intelligence company called Conjecture. I've written about him a few times. But the whole thing is, he's a doomer in AI safety. The AI safety thing. He comes from the perspective of, well, what's it going to do? But he talked about the fact that he went to Washington because his job and his career and his expertise and everything afforded him the ability to go to Washington and talk to governors and politicians alike about the AI safety issue, where they have conferences and they have big debates and they all get together and they have I picked it apart a couple times. Davos, this past, like a month ago, at Davos, all the safety experts get up on stage and they all talk about, we're governing the world into the new AI future, and it's going to do all these things for us, and it's going to cure cancer, and it's going to do all this stuff. And then you realize they have no idea what they're talking about, and no one's in charge. There's nobody really asking the right questions. What are the real right? Like, what's the right question? And the right question should be, what do we value and why? Where, not values like what's valuable, what's your house worth, what's your pension worth, what's the stock market worth? Those are things. I'm talking about, what do you believe? And those people believe nothing. They don't believe in anything. Only the ones that tell you openly, like Leslie Lewis, and Leslie Lewis I absolutely adore. and she's brilliant and smart. But her values don't come from government, even though she tries to inject her values into government through her Christian belief system, which I believe is the right way to think about it, because it says that you are not God. You don't get to determine what the value of another person's soul is. You don't get to say whether or not that other person is just another piece of data to be shuffled around. And when we put this awesome intelligence in charge of things that sees literally everything as data, numbers, just to be managed, and it doesn't have a source of understanding what is value, where do values come from, what are ethics, how do we know? And none of them, they all pretend like they're this fearless leader or whatever. And what do? They lock us up in wars in the Ukraine and Russia, and they let this thing go on as long as it's gone on in Israel, all because my values are better than yours, or my worth is more than yours. That's not what the West was built on. And when they try to pretend that they understand what they're talking about, when they don't, it really bothers me. Anyway. Enough. Oh, I gotta read something to you in just a few minutes. Just give me a few minutes. I want to read something really important to you. It's from Joe Allen's book, Dark Aeon. He shared like a chapter in his Substack this morning, and I want to read it to you verbatim because I think it's important. But just give me a little bit. Okay.